Well, Paul, let's start with the here and now. Give us your assessment of pre-season so far from your point of view.
Yeah, it's been good. I think, look, from a goalkeeping coach's point of view, you're in control and all your goalies are getting game time, so that's always nice. And yeah, it's been obviously my first one with a gaffer, so it's been a little bit different, as every manager has their different takes, but it's been really good and enjoyable, and lads are working hard, and I think you're starting to see some of the stuff coming out on the pitch as well. So it's been, yeah, pre-season's good because you get to know everyone, and you get a lot more time with everyone. But it's hard work as well. So it's it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
We spoke to a couple of the staff about what they're looking for from pre-season. For you, is it similar? Is it about minutes more than anything for your keepers?
I think it's, so I have themes. I work through different themes of what will happen in the game, and it's making sure they're ready. First and foremost, the first couple of days I get them ready to train, because obviously they haven't caught a ball for a few weeks, and get their eye back in, and get used to getting into like shapes that they haven't been in for a while, getting used to getting back off the floor. So I think the first 3 or 4 days they tend not to be with the team, and I'm just getting them ready for the gaffer and the coaches. And then it's just building on the layers of work really. So getting the timing back for crossing, for example, and then building it into bodies around you, and scenarios in the game. And then obviously because there's quite a lot of games, and there's the opportunity where you can play them in a half each and not use up a sub, it's good to get them a lot of game time as well, and get the feel back for the game.
How do you find stepping into what is a very established coaching trio of John Eustace, Matt Gardner, Keith Downing? How have you found moving into that dynamic?
I found it quite easy, and I don't mean that in terms of like it's always difficult, because you're learning about people and how they react to certain things and what they do and don't like. But because I've been part of so many coaching teams, it's nothing I haven't done before. Even though, for example, I was at Huddersfield for 8 seasons, I worked with Spanish managers, German managers, old experienced managers in like Neil Warnock, who's managed God knows how many games, versus someone in their first role. So I've definitely been part of different dynamics of coaching teams, somewhere they're fully Spanish, half Spanish, German, all sorts. So that made it easy, and I think the gaffer made it easy for me because he's such a good person. I really find it easy to work for him because he's very firm, because he knows what he wants, which makes me good. But he's such a good guy that he makes it easy for you as well. So I found it really, really easy. And Guards and Keith are brilliant people, and Bucko and Steve Round and everyone else. So it's been easy in that sense.
You mentioned a couple of your previous stops already, the long spell at Huddersfield, Norwich, Stoke most recently, bags of experience. What was your journey into coaching in the first place?
So basically, I think there was kind of a scenario maybe in England where goalkeepers were retiring at later ages than obviously outfield players, and then by the time they were so they were retiring at 40-year-old, for example, and then going into coaching and learning about coaching. Then by the time they're becoming good coaches, it was time for them to retire as coaches. There was also a lot more money in the game, so goalkeepers, I think back in the day, you would just naturally go into coaching, where goalies who are wealthy men, young men, have got other options. So I think the FA decided to try and look at a group of young coaches to mentor and bring through early. And I was so lucky. I had Eric Steele, for example, who I know worked here, and Martin Thomas and Tony Parks and Simon Smith, and I've been so lucky to have so many years with them as my mentor that I sit here now at 40 and I'm quite an experienced goalkeeping coach, but I still feel young. So I think I've got a lot more to give. So that was my journey really. I was obviously doing the scholarship and things like that. I wasn't going to quite make it, and I went and did my badges early.
What's the bit of the job that you enjoy the most?
On the grass, 100%, love it. Just love working with the keepers. It's the next best thing to being a footballer when you're out there. I'm still, able to to get involved with a group of players and, you know, have the banter and drive it, and, you know, sometimes sit back and let them drive it. But I love the grass. Obviously, I do enjoy going back over it and picking little bits out and reviewing it. And in the games, obviously, you know, everyone lives for 3 points. But for me, I just love being on the grass.
Our cameras spent the day out with you out in Austria recently. Really fantastic insight into the way that you work with the guys. How do you put a training plan together? How do you decide what it is you're focusing on, what messages you want to get across to them?
I think, like I said earlier, I've got kind of a 6-week cycle that I go round, and it covers all the themes. So you've got high balls central, high balls wide, you've got, you know, your 1v1 duels, your shot stopping from distance and different angles and inverting, all these things. So I kind of have a plan where I don't get led by, oh, the goalie's dropped 3 crosses at the weekend, we're going to do crosses all week. I'm not like that. I've got a plan. So the front end of the week and pre-season is generally going around them themes, and then the back end of the week will be, you know, we're playing Team X, what are their strengths and weaknesses, in terms of the goalie's perception, what, you know, are the inverted wingers or the types of crosses, etc. So I try and put them in that scenario as much as I can, and give them all the problems during the week before it comes at the weekend. And then on top of that, there's a lot of periods where some of the goalkeepers are in with a gaffer or different coaches, and I've got them, and that's when, you know, we get into the IDP work, so the individual development plans. So, you know, to take an easy one, if someone's not great on their left foot, we might do some extra left foot work, clearances and things. So in answer to the question, I think it is planned, it's not random, and we're just layering it. So every time we do the session, we're just trying to get that bit better and just layer the learning, really.
You've got a great group of keepers here, great guys as well, Jakob, Josh, Rich, plus obviously the younger guys as well. You've had Jack Thompson and Harry Evans with you a lot in pre-season. Do you do much research on the guys that you're going to be working with before you arrive? I mean, you probably didn't have time on this occasion, but how much do you sort of know about the goalkeepers before you work with them?
Yeah, I think as a goalkeeping coach, a lot of your work's around recruitment. So, you know, what if someone puts in a massive bid tomorrow for all 3 of our goalies, you know, what we're going to do. So I'd like to think I know a lot of the goalies at other clubs. So certainly coming in to a championship club, I've been in the championship for so long now that I knew the goalkeepers. And that does spiral down to some of the younger ones. Obviously, you just don't know them as people. And like I said to you earlier, how they react to certain things and when to push them, when to come off them. But yeah, I mean, in pre-season, we've had some of the even younger ones, or I won't name them because I don't want to put them under pressure, but we've got some very, very talented younger goalkeepers here as well. And, you know, again, I won't name him, but we had a 15-year-old training with us today. I had a 14 and a 15-year-old training with us last week. And it's good experience for them. But it's also, it brings out the leadership skills in my lads as well. So, you know, sometimes, like I say, I can stand back and they can coach a little bit, and that helps them with their learning. So yeah, I'm definitely not one of them guys who just work with the first team. But yeah, I think I'm always interested in goalies. So when we play against an opposition team, I'm always looking at what their goalie does and different styles, you know, different countries, different heights, different, you know. So yeah, I'm just a goalie nerd, basically.
There's always such great camaraderie between goalkeepers, and we see it here all the time. Does that come from the fact that they all appreciate what a unique position they play? Because there is nothing else like it on the pitch, I'm sure you would argue.
Yeah, I mean, I've been quite vocal about it within the club since I've come, that their gym programs needed to change. They're power athletes, not endurance athletes like the outfielders, so they have to do things differently. But I think when you are a goalkeeper, you understand that only one can play. So you're not going to come on for the last 15 or 20 minutes like you've seen in pre-season. That's just not going to happen in the league. But the number one needs the number 2 and 3 at it every day for them to prepare and to be their best. And at the drop of a hat, like last year with Jakob, you know, you're in the team and you're playing, and then you're on the bench and you could be on in a minute. So, you know, there's just always, every club I've worked at, every group I've worked at, there's been that, you know, there's the goalkeepers union. You know, I don't want anyone who doesn't want to play, but you know, they need to push in the right way. And I think when they do that, the group's really strong, which we've got here at the moment, so it's good.